Shalom Israel, Shalom, Shalom. Brother Naquam, Watchman for Israel, coming back at you with these precepts and another cold cut, giving, of course, our honor and our glory to Yahweh. By Shema Mashiach, like Yabushai. It's like a double honor to the elect elders of the house of David. That's been this truth for decades and decades, patiently waiting for the second coming of Mashiach, like Yabushai. A hearty, mighty Shalom to all of the mighty men of the Most High God who are out there in the highways and byways, pushing this truth, magnifying the ministry, and presenting their body as a living sacrifice. Shalom, Shalom. A hearty Shalom to all of the mighty men of the Most High who may not be out there in the highways and byways as of yet, but they're working on it. They're praying, they're studying, they're fasting, they're being diligent and abounding in the work of the Lord. Shalom, Shalom. Shalom to all of the Aquap out there, the sincere sisters out there, holding it down in the households, reverencing their husbands, being submissive, being diligent, and moving in the spirit of our righteous foremothers. Shalom, Shalom. Shalom to everybody tuning in live. Kyoko Banyamyan, Don Baba, HBK Ent, Juan Philly, Juan Figura, right? Salaki if I butchered the name, Vernon Brody, Adelija Darimple, Divash Branch, Rocco Merriweather, K Rock the Don, King Trey, and everybody. Shalom to everybody who's tuning in and that will tune in, most willing. All praise to Yahweh Shem Rashad. We diving right back into it. Right, the topic of this live stream, this cold cut, is Jacob's Trouble series. Right, how will we survive? Right, the miracles of the end. Because we speak often, we spoke about tribulation, the interrogation room. Right, we spoke about when your name is called for the guillotine. Right, we went into the FEMA camp. We're going into different aspects and components of Jacob's Trouble. Right, when you go into it, remember. Even going into it, you know, if you tuned into the live this morning, which I'm going to bring that precept back up again in Matthew, the 24th chapter, Yahweh said that it will be a time like no other, right? No amount of stress, no bad day that you had, no woman leaving you, no car breakdown, no being fired from your job. Nothing that you're about to experience is going to be able to compare to the times that draw nigh on the earth, man. Now I want to get this precept. This is moving slow, so Salakia. Right, bear with me. Let me check this out. Right, Satan got this thing moving kind of slow. Bear with me. All right, bear with me 1 second. All right, I want to be able to pull this up. Let's go to the book of Matthew, the 24th chapter. Right, let's go to St. Matthew, chapter 24. So this St. Matthew, chapter 24, right? See, as soon as you get into it, Satan cometh immediately, right, to take away the word. All right, we'll go to Matthew, chapter 24 and 21 on down. So let me check this out. All right, bear with me. Chapter 24 and 21 on down. Let me check this out. All right. I'll just read it. I'll just get it as it is, right? While it loads up. So this is Matthew chapter 24, right? And verse 21, right? So bear with me. This is Matthew chapter 24 and 21. It reads, For then shall be great tribulation, such as was not since the beginning of the world to this time, no nor ever shall be. And except those days shall be shortened, there shall no flesh be saved. But for the elect's sake, those days shall be shortened. And really, the Lord is going to save the elect. The elect are a particular class of individuals, Israelites, chosen from the foundation of the world to survive the destruction coming on the earth. Remember, not everybody's going to be a martyr, right? We went into it earlier, going into the ancient martyrdom and the persecution, and even in other lessons, when we speak about men that may have to give their life, but not everybody's going to have to give their life. There are certain men alive on the earth to this day in the truth that are going to be alive and literally see the chariots come, and they're going to survive the famine. They're going to survive World War III. They're going to survive all of the persecution. They're going to survive the FEMA camp. They're going to survive Jacob's trouble, and they're going to ultimately be alive and remain, man. And those are the elect. Now, the men that are martyred, they're also the elect, but you're going to have people on the earth that survive those things, and the Lord is going to shorten the days for those men, right? So these men can survive. All right. Now, when you go to the book of 2nd Ezra, right, the 13th chapter, let's go to 2nd Ezra, chapter 13. Right, bear with me. Let's go to 2nd Ezra, chapter 13, and I want to get a particular precept, because you're going to have men that are left behind, right? And Ezra speaks about that, a particular amount of men that are left behind. Even though the Lord said that this day or these days will be like no other, and no flesh shall be saved. And there's no telling how many men, right? It could be 10,000, it could be 1,000,000, it could be 100,000. Nobody knows how many men are actually going to get beamed up, right? We know it's the 1/3, but that's going to consist of men that have been martyred, and men that are outside of that generation, and the men that are alive and remaining, right? So this is 2nd Ezra, chapter 13 and verse 18. It reads, "Now understand I the things that are laid up in the latter days." So Ezra knew the prophecy, because the Most High broke it down to him through Uriel the angel, "which shall happen unto them and those that are left behind." You see that? Those that are left behind. These are those that survive the destruction. These are those that survive the famine. These are those who, through the Most High's miracles and through the Most High's guidance, you're not going to get caught up in that thing, man. And the Most High is going to preserve those men. These are an elite class of men, right, that are left behind. Therefore they come into great perils and many necessities, like these dreams declare. And they are going to go through great perils, but they're going to survive those things, right? Now I want to jump down. Let's see. 2nd Ezra chapter 13 and 22. It reads, "Whereas thou hast spoken of them that are left behind, this is the interpretation. He that shall endure the peril in that time hath kept himself. They that be fallen into danger are such as have works and faith toward the Almighty. Know this, therefore, that they which be left behind are more blessed than they that be dead." You see that? So the Most High is giving you the inside scoop about the men that survive all hell breaking loose, the men that survive Jacob's trouble, the men that survive the end of the world when Esau's kicking doors down, and the Most High allows these men to escape. Right? The Most High has these men become invisible, or sends an angel to blind those men. Right? The Most High has done many things, and we're going to go into these accounts. How are these men left behind? Here you have days that are not going to be like any other day on the earth, with great destruction and death. So how is the Most High going to survive and preserve the elect? Right? Let's go to the book of Daniel, the 12th chapter. How is he going to do it? And we're going to go into these accounts, man. And as we go to these accounts, and these things may happen unto us, man. Like I said, not everybody's going to be in a FEMA camp. Not everybody's going to have their name called for a guillotine. Not everybody's going to be rounded up. We don't know what our lot is going to be. Right? Nobody has a golden ticket that says, okay, well, here's your lot. Your lot, you know, you're going to be a pilgrim on the earth for 24 days. And then after the 25th day, this is going. Nobody knows these things. And that's why we have faith. That's what faith is about. Right? The substance of things hoped for, the evidence of things not seen. That's Hebrews chapter 11 and 1. So regardless of what we see and what the Most High has revealed to us, we're still going to believe, man. Right? All right, Salakia, this is Daniel chapter 12 and 1. It reads, "At that time shall Daniel stand up, the great prince, which standeth for the children of thy people, and there shall be a time of trouble, such as never was since there was a nation." When did nations begin to form? From the time of Genesis, the 10th chapter. Noah had his 3 sons, Shem, Ham, and Japheth. Shem had nations that came out of him. Who came out of Shem? The Israelites came out of Shem. The Edomites came out of Shem. The Moabites came out of Shem. The Ishmaelites came out of Shem. The Ammonites came out of Shem. The Midianites came out of Shem. You have many men that came out of Shem. Who else? You had the Hamites. You have the sons of Ham, Mart, Tizarium, Cushites, Pawat, which are your children of Put or Foot. You understand? You had your Canaanites. You had your Japhetic nations, Gog, Tarshish, Javan, Kittim. So nations were formed well over 4,000 years ago. And the Most High is saying that there will be a time of trouble such as never was since there was a nation. So from Genesis, the 10th chapter, until the times that of Jacob's trouble, nothing between those time periods are going to be able to compare to what's coming on the earth. That's deep, right? When you think about it. It says, such as never was since there was a nation, even to that same time. So that's a time period. That's a starting point, and that's an ending point. And at that time, thy people shall be delivered. Who's going to be delivered? Everyone that shall be found written in the book. And these men that are left behind in 2nd Ezra 13th chapter, those men are written in the book. What book is that? The book of life. The Most High has an account of particular men, and under their lot, it says, okay, these men are going to survive Jacob's trouble, and these men are going to survive, and these men are going to be left behind. Name one, name two, name three. This brother from London. Okay, this brother from Memphis. All right, this sister from Tuskegee. All right, this brother from LA. And there's a list, right, with all of their works on it, with faith and works, and they have an account to be preserved. Right, let me read this again in 2nd Ezra chapter 13 at 22. Right, it reads, whereas thou hast spoken of them that are left behind, this is the interpretation. He that shall endure the peril in that time have kept himself, meaning you kept yourself from sin. You watched over your spirit. You made sure your garment was clean. You stayed away from sin and fornication. You were abstinent. You were a virgin, unspotted and untouched. You have kept yourself, being defiled from the world. They that be fallen into danger are such as have works and faith toward the Almighty. Right, I used to point out one again, 2nd Ezra chapter 13 and 24. Know this, therefore, that they which be left behind are more blessed than they which be dead. Right? And you actually are going to see men that died. Right? They may have died in a FEMA camp, may have died in a famine, whatever the case may be. Then you're going to have men that are left behind. Right now, we're going to talk about how the Most High is going to preserve men that are left behind. Right? Because the Most High has promised that. You have particular prophecies where the Most High promised that his servants would eat, that he would protect the saints, that in the days of evil, he would you as a hen that covereth her chickens under her wing, man. You know, the Most High has promised these things, and these things will come to pass. As much as we read about the destruction, the nations going into slavery, them building up the walls, ICBM missiles, we know those prophecies will come to pass, and we harp on those things and reinforce them thoroughly. But also the prophecies of preservation and being delivered, those things are just as important as speaking about the nations and their downfall. You know, because those things instill hope in you, they instill faith in you. These are the driving factors that keep men going, knowing that no matter what affliction or turmoil that befalls us, the Most High has promised us particular events and prophecies about being delivered. And we bank on that, man, because it is impossible for God to lie. A man may say, I got you. I'm going to be there for you. Hey, I'll take a bullet for you. I don't care. That's mortal man. I don't care what mortal man has to say. But if the Most High said that we're going to be delivered, and he's going to keep his angel around us, and A, B, and C, and that we're going to eat and be preserved, and no evil is going to befall us. Hey, I'm going to bank on that. I'll take those words, and I'm going to lay those words up in my heart, man. And this is what the Most High said in Isaiah, right? This is the book of Isaiah, chapter 65, and verse 11. It reads, but yea are they that forsake the Lord, that forget my holy mountain, that prepare a table for that troop, and that furnish the drink offering into that number. So you have men that sell out, men that serve other gods, You have men that completely just forsake the Bible. They're atheists, they're sodomites, they're for damn astrology and witchcraft. Right? So the Most High said, look, okay, that's one particular man. Here's what I'm gonna do to him. Therefore will I number you to the sword, and ye shall all bow down to the slaughter. Because when I called, ye did not answer. When I spake, ye did not hear, but did evil before mine eyes, and did choose that wherein I delighted not. So certain men are numbered to the sword, meaning I'm gonna kill this man. All right, this man's going to die in a famine. Number 3, this guy, he's going to die by ICBM missile. Or if this guy, I'm gonna number him. Number 5, he's going to be numbered and destroyed by chariot. This man's going to get shot in the head. This man's going to get attacked by wild beasts. All right, this man's going to have his house ravished. So the Lord is numbering particular individuals to the sword and deciding how they're going to die. Why? Because when he called them, they were too busy. Right? I don't have anything. I have too much to do. Right? We're out there at camp and we have 10,000 excuses. Or I'm out there with my old lady. Hey, brother, you got a minute? Oh, it's date night. Hey, brother, you got a minute? I got somewhere I got to be. I'm at work. I'm with my daughter. It's family time. I'm on vacation. Got to go see a movie. So the Lord is going to number those individuals to the sword. Right? Verse 13. Salakia. It reads, therefore, thus saith the Lord, behold, my servant shall eat, but ye shall be hungry. Behold, my servant shall drink, but ye shall be thirsty. Behold, my servant shall rejoice, but ye shall be ashamed. So during the days of famine that are going to be on the earth, when food is inaffordable or unaffordable, you're not going to be able to just, I mean, right now, man, I went to the store the other day, I had about 7 things, and the damn the price came up to almost $160, man. You know, food is getting expensive. You have high inflation, high interest rates. It's going to get to the point where you're not going to be able to afford this food, man. Even certain stores, I know I've seen certain videos like Walmart and other stores, they're just blocking off aisles and saying you can't get this food. And they did that the other day at this store around my way, man. They put this plastic lining wall over the dairy section and said you can't get this. And they put some over the frozen food section, this yellow tape. Hey, but look, things happen, and I got what was behind that yellow tape. Don't ask how, but we have to get what we have to get, man. And people are going to move like that. Look, they're just not even going to pay for it. They're just going to take that stuff, rip that tape down, and say, look, we don't give a damn about that, man. About your yellow tape. That yellow tape is like a psychological thing. People have been trained and programmed to just follow the laws. Yeah, you need what's behind that tape. Hey, look, man, I'm going to just chill out. It's not that serious. But the days draw nigh when it will be that serious. And that yellow tape, it's not going to stop any damn body. And men saying you can't, you when you shop and you kind of in the back and got that door that say employees only, stay out. You got that red sign, do not enter, right? So-and-so grocery store employees allowed back. No one else is allowed back here. And, man goes about their day. They never really go back there. They kind of look at it. They know, okay, that area is off limits. You think people are going to be like that during the famine, during the days of Jacob's trouble, during the evil time? No, people are going to go back there, take what they want to take, and do what they want to do. And get violent if they have to get violent. And get physical if they have to get physical. People are just going to take stuff, man. There's going to be no more food, empty shelves. And when you go to 2nd Ezra, let's go to 2nd Ezra chapter 16 real quick. Right? A pivotal chapter. Right? Bear with me. Let's go to 2nd Ezra chapter 16. And I want to go to verse 20. Right? So the Most High is going to allow particular men to survive those days, right? 2nd Ezra chapter 16 and verse 22. For many of them that dwell upon earth shall perish of famine, and the other that escape the hunger shall the sword destroy. So if you survive the famine, men that are not the elect, they're going to be destroyed by the sword. And the dead shall be cast out as dung, and there shall be no man to comfort them. For the earth shall be wasted, and the city shall be cast down. So people, those stores are going to be empty. By the time Jacob's trouble officially kick off, hey, look, those stores are going to be raided, looted, burned, robbed, taken captive by particular clans of men and individuals and different sects. And the men who are not under the protection of the Most High, they're going to die in that famine because they're not going to be able to go to the store and get food or go to the vending machine or DoorDash or Grubhub. But the Most High said his servants shall eat. And you're going to have dead bodies, man. People are going to take these dead bodies and do God knows what with them. Sell them, eat them, fuel for fire, for bait, for wild beasts. Dead bodies are going to be cast out as dung. So during the time of Jacob's trouble and massive persecution, it's going to be dead bodies out there, man. And there shall be no man to comfort them, for the earth shall be wasted and the cities shall be cast down. There shall be no man left to till the earth and to sow it, meaning there's no more construction going on, no more business building, no more jobs, no more traffic, no cars in the streets. That's what it means, no man left to till the earth. All the men that maintain the state of the world and whose desires in their craft, they're going to be shut down. The trees shall give fruit, and who shall gather them? The grapes shall ripe, and who shall tread them? For all places shall be desolate of men. And these are the days that are going to be on the earth. But the Most High is going to be with his men, right? So that one shall desire to see another and to hear his voice. It's going to be so empty and so void that even, man who hasn't heard another man's voice, that's something that they're going to desire, man. And if they hear another man's voice, it'll be like finding gold. So these are the evil days that draw nigh: famine, death, and destruction, massive persecution. But the Most High is going to have us survive, right? And one of the ways I want to touch on how the Most High is going to have us survive, let's go to Jeremiah chapter 15. Let's touch on some of the ways how the Most High, even though there's evil and death coming on the earth, and many dead bodies cast out like dung, and the streets and the walls broken down, how are we going to eat? How is Isaiah 65 going to be fulfilled? Men are going to be hungry, but the Most High servants shall eat. You may say, well, hold on. I thought you said that the stores are going to be emptied. I thought 2nd Ezra, the 6th chapter, said that the 4 storehouses shall suddenly be found empty. Well, how are we going to eat? Do you think the Most High is only going to feed us and take care of us from the storehouses? Right? You're limiting the hand of the Most High. Right? It's like your 2nd Ezra chapter 6 and 22. And suddenly shall the sown places appear unsown, the 4 storehouses shall suddenly be found empty. So yes, 4 storehouses will be empty. Warehouses, fulfillment centers, manufacturing facilities, factories, you understand, big food warehouses, they're going to be empty. Your local chain of grocery stores, your Giants, your Safeway, your Food Line, your Publix, your Kroger's, your Myers, all that stuff is going to be shut down, man. So how is the Most High going to feed us if these food places are shut down? How are we going to be drinking and everybody else going to be thirsty? How are we going to be rejoicing in those days and everybody's going to be ashamed? Here you have a prophecy that says, my servant shall rejoice. So in the days of destruction and the days of famine and the evil times, certain men that are left behind, they're going to be rejoicing. And everybody else, they're going to be ashamed. All right, here's one of the ways of how men is going to rejoice. Jeremiah chapter 15 and verse 11. Right? Jeremiah chapter 15 and 11. Yahweh said, verily it shall be well with thy remnant. Verily I will cause the enemy to entreat thee well in the time of evil and in the time of affliction. So what is the time of evil? Is that speaking about when you had a flat tire? Is that the time of evil? It's the time of evil when you forgot, you showed up to work late and your boss said, well, now I have to write you up. Is that the time of evil? No. It's a time of affliction when you had a stomach ache and a migraine. No, the time of affliction and the time of evil is none other than Jacob's trouble. Right? And what did the Most High say? He said, the Lord said, verily it shall be well with thy remnant. A remnant is a remainder of men that the Most High is still going to be with. Verily, I will cause the enemy to entreat thee well in the time of evil and in the time of affliction. So the Most High is going to put a spirit on our enemies. This is just one way. I'm going to touch on different points. The Most High is going to put a spirit on our enemies to entreat us well, man. You may say, hold on, well, how is that going to happen? Well, it happens all throughout the Bible, right? All throughout the scriptures, you see the enemy. The Most High can put the spirit on the king, a spirit on anybody to entreat our people well, man. You might be running somewhere, you might be a pilgrim on the earth. It might not be any food, a heathen, right? Or whatever, man. May say, hey, look, I got this food, take it. And then he just leaves. Here's some water. Here's some shelter. Here's some food. The Most High, and it's going to be a spirit when you don't have to, well, do I go? Do I not go? The Most High is going to put that spirit on you to understand that he's being used to treat you well. Because a man may say, well, I don't know about them. The Lord said, never trust thine enemy. Well, that's not going to be your mind in that day. The Most High is going to put the spirit on the elect to have that high level of discernment. And they're going to say, that's my enemy and treating me well. So they're not going to sit there and question and say, well, I don't know what to do. Damn, do I go? Do I not do this? Do I listen? Whatever. The Most High is going to have that Holy Spirit in those men, man. Right? And we can see all throughout the Bible your enemy and treating our forefathers well. Right? The Lord said, when a man's ways please the Lord, he causeth even his enemy to be at peace with him. Huh? Right? Let's go to Proverbs chapter 16 and verse 7. Right? This is Proverbs chapter 16 and verse 7. It reads, when a man's ways please the Lord, he maketh even his enemies to be at peace with him. That's plain, right? If you're in the faith, you're diligent, you do the work of the Most High, you're keeping the laws, you're keeping the statutes, you're keeping the commandments, you're doing the work of the Most High, the Lord is going to cause your enemy to entreat you well. Let's go to the book of Jeremiah 39. And these devils, man, I mean, they're stocking up. A lot of these doomsday preppers who are stocking up on food, about 99% of them are Edomites, man. And the other nations. I mean, they have food that lasts 6 years, 10 years. A damn water supply that lasts for 5 years. Nuclear fallout shelters. Electricity generators. These devils, and I had it pulled up, man. This is they call them doomsday preppers. And I'm sure you brothers, you've heard of it. These doomsday preppers, they are preparing for the worst. This shows you this place is finished. They didn't have doomsday preppers in the early 1900s. In the 1920s, there was no doomsday preppers. Hey, hell, even in the 1930s, there was no doomsday preppers. 1940s, World War II, baby booming era, Leave It to Beaver era, the Great Gatsby era. That early 1900s, Esau wasn't thinking about being a doomsday prepper. But that shows you this kingdom is falling. He's preparing for the worst. He knows that his day is at hand. That's Job chapter 15, 20 on down. Let me get that real quick. He knows it's over, man. All right, let's go to Job chapter 15. Job, and that shows you that this place is finished. Esau went from ruling the earth to prepping for his own destruction of his kingdom, for the destruction of his own kingdom. And they know it's inevitable, right? That's prophecy. Job chapter 15 and verse 20. The wicked man travaileth with pain all his days, and the number of years is hidden to the oppressor. So he knows that there's a set time, but he doesn't know what time he's going out. A dreadful sound is in his ears, and prosperity, the destroyer, shall come upon him. So the dreadful sound of the breakdowns and the prophecies. He believeth not, check this out. He believeth not that he shall return out of darkness and is waited for of the sword. So he knows he's not going to come out on top. He knows the sword is waiting for him. And that's why they have these guys, man. You know? And like I said, look at this. A lot of them are Edomites, man. Look at this guy. Gas mask. Look at this. Doomsday. Look at all this. Food. Whatever's in these buckets. Right? What's in these buckets? They have all of the pantries. And this may just be a small portion of it, man. You know? This is just a small. These devils stock up on all goods with food that have a long shelf life. You might be a pilgrim. You know, you're moving on the earth, trying to figure out where to go. You lift up your head. You don't know what's going to happen. And then you stumble across this. And you're looking around. You're looking, does anybody live here? You check around the back. You know, you look around the side of the house. The door is kind of slightly open. But the Most High's with you. Right? You kind of see something in the back. It look like food, but you don't really know. Kind of go in there. Nobody's there, man. You look out in the back. It's 3 dead Edomites. They're just dead. And then you see all of the food that they have. Then they have running water. You could take a shower. Then you see all of the food. That's the Most High using the enemy and all of his goods to treat you well, man. And even if that devil was alive, the Most High could put the spirit on him. Wow, the Israelites, the God, here, take it. It's all yours. And didn't the Lord do that to the Egyptians? Didn't we spoil the Egyptians? I believe that's Exodus, the 12th chapter, if I'm not mistaken. And the Lord put the spirit on the Egyptians, man. Right? To give us goods and things that we needed. I believe that's Exodus 12 and 33. Right? It reads, and the Egyptians were urging upon the people that they might send them out of the land in haste, for they said, we be all dead men. So the Most High put the spirit in them Egyptians to say, look, y'all are the chosen. The Most High is with you. And look, we're all dead men. It reads, and the people took their dough before it was leavened, their kneading troughs being bound up in their clothes upon their shoulders. And the children of Israel did according to the word of Moses. And they borrowed of the Egyptians jewels of silver and jewels of gold and raiment. And the Most High is going to do that again, man. And these are the modern day Egyptians, right? The so-called white man. And you're going to borrow of them whatever you need, man. Whatever you need, the Most High is going to put the spirit in them nations. Hey, here, take this, take that, take that. When the Lord said his servant shall eat, that's not talking about McDonald's. You just find a McDonald's, and that's the only one still open in the hood. And you get there, and there's one employee that works for you who makes you Big Macs all day, man. And you can just loop around, right? No other traffic, and you just keep getting a number 3. All right, you get a number 3 with a damn Coke and a big large fry and a McFlurry, man. You know, how the Most High is going to feed us is going to be miraculous. It's going to be in ways that you're not going to be able to comprehend. It's not going to be, okay, here's 50 cents. You wake up, there's 50 cents in your pocket. You hear change, and you put it in the vending machine. Then you got to kind of shake the vending machine a little bit. You hit it because you're mad. So you take the Most High, put 50 more cents in your pocket because the first 50 cents he put in there didn't work. So now you do this, and you put the next one in, and you hit a damn 3 because you're getting the damn Twix. Then the Twix kind of shake, then you shake it again, then it don't work. Then the Most High puts the angel to come down and give you 50 more cents. That's not how the Most High is going to feed you. With a vending machine, huh? And an angel sneaking quarters in your pocket. Look how the Most High provided for us. It says, and the children of Israel did according to the word of Moses. And they borrowed of the Egyptians jewels of silver and jewels of gold and raiment. And the Lord, not man, and Yahweh, Ba'ashem Yahushai, gave the people favor in the sight of the Egyptians, so that they lent unto them such things as they required, and they spoiled the Egyptians. You see that? And the Lord says he requires that which is past. The Lord can give you favor in the sight of anybody, in the sight of the so-called white man, in the sight of a prisoner, in the sight of your your captor. Hey, Daniel had favor in the sight of the prince of the eunuchs, man. When you read Daniel, the 1st chapter, even when you read Daniel, the 6th chapter, Daniel had favor in the king. The king wanted to deliver Daniel, and the king wanted to take care of Daniel. So these are certain things how the Most High is going to allow us to survive in those days. The Lord can give you favor in the sight of anybody, and they're going to provide for you such things as you require. If you need water, they're going to give you water. If you need bread, they're going to give you bread. If you need clothes, they're going to give you clothes. If you need them, whatever, they're going to give it to you. Why? Because the Most High is going to give them favor, or give you favor in their eyes. You know? And the Lord said in Isaiah, Salaki, real quick. Let's go to Isaiah. Isaiah, the 23rd chapter. Let's get another precept on that. And we believe things like this are going to happen. We're not saying, well, I don't know about that one, because that was back then. And that was 4,000 years ago. And that was the God of the Old Testament. We're not thinking about that. Well, maybe that God, that's when the Most High was with us. But now we're just wicked and we're sinners. Now we believe through faith, strictly off of faith and these accounts that build up our faith, that these miracles are going to happen again. This Isaiah chapter 23 and verse 18. And her merchandise, I'm going to start at 17 to get the context. Isaiah 23 and 17. And this shall come to pass after the end of 70 years, that the Lord will visit Tyre, and she shall turn to her hire, and shall commit fornication with all kingdoms of the world upon the face of the earth. Now, this is spiritually really on a deeper level going into America, right? Because 70 years is just a time of completion. So it's speaking about that spirit of ancient Tyre and Zidon coming back on the earth. They were a heavy empire when it came to dominating trade. When it came to imports and exports, when you read Ezekiel 26, Ezekiel 27, you'll read about the influence, 1 Kings, the 5th chapter, right? How they had in trade. So they're going to come back on the earth. And now in the spiritual sense of America, they're going to commit fornication with all the kingdoms of the world upon the face of the earth. Because ancient Tyre didn't do that. I mean, they only dealt with their surrounding cities. They dealt with Turkey. They dealt with, or really God, Magog. They dealt with Judah. They dealt with the, all these different, the Assyrians. But America, they're the only ones that are going to do this with every kingdom upon the face of the earth. So her merchandise and her hire, right? And the merchandise and the hire is all of the goods of America, right? That's her food, right? Her damn bread. Some of these elites, they have mansions, man. They have multi-million-dollar mansions with unlimited food and water. And her merchandise and her hire shall be holiness to the Lord. It shall not be treasured nor laid up. For her merchandise shall be for them that dwell before the Lord, to eat sufficiently and for durable clothing. So the Most High is going to lay up all of the goods. All of those clothes, when these department store clothes, people are going to take those clothes. The Most High is putting that spirit in them to take those clothes to preserve it for you. If you wear a size damn large, and the Most High is going to have these people take stuff, and it's just going to be for you. Rather those men died and took it, rather they give it to you, rather you find it, people are going to acquire goods, wealth, clothes, food, just for you. So you don't have to worry about it. You don't have to worry about, I got to stock up on this, I got to get this, I need an extra large this, I need that. What did the prophecy say? He says the merchandise of these nations, and chiefly Babylon the Great, is going to be for them that serve the Most High, for them that dwell before the Lord. All of the food, you may think there's no food. There's food there. It's laid up just for you at a set time, at a set day, to eat sufficiently. There's clothes. right? Your clothes gonna stink. You're gonna be wearing them out. They're gonna have holes in them. You might, running from Esau. You damn stuck your damn shirt on a tree branch. You kind of put a hole on it. It's cold out. It may be the fall, winter time, and you need a damn jacket or you need some thick socks or whatever. It's gonna be there for you. We just read about it in Exodus, how we spoiled the Egyptians, and the Most High put the spirit in them to give us favor. Right? Let's go to, I spoke about Daniel. I wanted to get that account. Right? Let's go to Daniel, the 6th chapter. Right? Daniel chapter 6. And I want to get straight to the point. Right? I want to get straight to the point. So we're not carnal. Right? We're not sitting around trying to establish our own salvation. We trust in the Most High. Now, it's not a sin to be practical, right? But you want to put your faith ultimately in the Most High. When I say practicality, that goes into, okay, should I really get bottles of water? Should I do this? Hey, guess what? Take advantage. If there's a deal, if you normally pay $10 for a 32 pack of water and now it's $5, don't be a fool. I'm waiting on the Most High. Brother, just if you have it, get it, brother. Get the 2. It's 2 for $10. Don't be the brother. I don't need that. All right, the Most High is going to give me water out of the rock. Hey, brother, that was the Most High trying to give you water for the 2 for $10. But you don't have any discernment. So take advantage, right? If there's a deal and it's a damn 2 for $10, get it, brother. Don't be over wise when you become simple. And there's brothers like that, man. Brothers have that simplicity mindset. But what we're also saying is, look, you want to keep your faith in the Most High because that water may not be there ever. You might get there and there's no water, right? You might not have food. You might not have drink. But I want to get this precept. This Daniel chapter 6 and verse 10. Now, when Daniel knew that the writing was signed, he went into his house, and his windows being opened in his chamber toward Jerusalem, he kneeled upon his knees 3 times a day and prayed and gave thanks before his God, as he did aforetime. Now, when you read this account, there was a decree given that you can't make any petition to anyone except the king. So there was no praying to God. There was no asking anybody for anything or requesting anything unless you had to go to the king. Daniel knew that was the decree. It didn't stop him from praying to the Most High. He still prayed. Right? Then these men assembled and found Daniel praying and making supplication before his God. Then they came near and spake before the king concerning the king's decree. Hast thou not signed the decree that every man that shall ask a petition of any god or man within 30 days, save of thee, O king, shall be cast into the den of lions? The king answered and said, the thing is true, according to the law of the Medes and Persians, which altereth not. Then answered they and said before the king that Daniel, which is of the children of the captivity of Judah, regardeth not thee, O king, nor the decree that thou hast signed, but maketh this petition 3 times a day. So they set up Daniel. Now check this out. Here's the point I want. Verse 14. Then the king, now this king is not an Israelite. This king is a heathen. Then the king, when he heard these words, was sore displeased to himself and set his heart on Daniel to deliver him. And he labored to the going down of the sun to deliver him. See what the Most High could do? The Most High could put, you might be somewhere in a FEMA camp. And then you got the top guy, the top governor, right? Or the top official, maybe a damn lieutenant in there, or a damn general of the so-called white man, or some top Edomite. Then the Most High put the spirit in him to deliver you. Here you are in a FEMA camp, arrested for treason or domestic terrorism, or God knows what charges they're going to lay upon you falsely, and you're praying to the Most High. Our forefathers sang songs in prison in Acts the 16th chapter. You're calling upon Yahweh Bashim Yahushua. Then the Most High sends an angel down to get on the king or whoever's in charge to try to deliver you. Right? All day from the going down into the sun. So the Most High could put the spirit again on anyone that you can have favor on, or put the spirit on anybody to deliver you. He might come to, hey, look, when everybody's asleep, hey, that guy come, here's the key. I didn't see nothing. Go serve your God. You don't deserve to be here. And he kind of opened the door. Here, throw this on, put this uniform on. And you kind of put it on. He say, follow me. Right? And he put his damn fingerprint in, and that sliding door open, and he let you through the door. Then he kind of go on the camera and kind of shut off the camera. Right? Then let you out. And then he opened up the big door, slide it open, and says, go and be free. May the Most High be with you. And he doesn't know what he's doing. He has no idea. It's not in him to do that, but the Most High put that spirit on him, huh? Right? Hey, look, here's some food on the way. Hey, when you go back, you take a right, there's a plethora of food. Here, take this bag. Here, get this water. These are things that the Most High has done and will done for his people, huh? The Lord literally, and the king has 1,000 things to do, and power and everything. But the Most High put in his spirit to try to deliver an Israelite from persecution. You know? Now, when you go into Daniel, the first chapter, and that's because Daniel pleased the Lord. That's not going to be for just anybody and everybody. That's for men that please the Most High. And that's why we want to be diligent in pleasing the Most High, through obedience and through faith. You know, Daniel chapter 1 and verse 8. But Daniel proposed in his heart that he would not defile himself with the portion of the king's meat, nor with the wine which he drank. Therefore he requested of the prince of the eunuchs that he might not defile himself. So he sought it out and was bold and said, hey, look, yeah, I'm in captivity, I'm in slavery, but look, I want to keep the commandments. But God had, now the Most High had brought Daniel into favor and tender love with the prince of the eunuchs. Again, like I said, you might be in a prison camp somewhere. You might be on a run. Anything might happen, and the Most High could bring you into favor with your jailer, man, or the security guy, man. You know? Or the guy that's running the prison. Like Joseph, the Lord brought Daniel into favor with Potiphar, and he was delivered, man, with the chief butler and the chief baker, and with Pharaoh. So the Most High could put the spirit on. You might be on a run, or you might just be, all hell is breaking loose, and Esau's going door to door. You know your door is next, but Esau, he kind of opened the door. He can kind of see you, and then his general might say, "Was anybody in that house? Did you see any of those Israelites?" He says, "No, I didn't see one." Kind of throw you something, and then act like you wasn't there, man. This one, I believe it was a sister, right? She gave an account of a dream she had. Whether this is going to come to pass or not, but it was just for faith, right? That's why I believe the sister had the dream. So she had a dream that Esau was going door to door to her house, to different houses and in the neighborhood or whatever the case may be in the city, and Esau kicks the door down. But these are two quick accounts. Esau kicks the door down. He comes in with the enforcer and breaks it down, and he's going in there, and she's in the living room. I think she was with her family, maybe her son, maybe her daughter. I can't remember. But Esau goes in there, and they got the black on. They got the gun with the flashlight. They got the damn, like it looks like they're in a SWAT team, a SWAT gear, riot gear on, and they go into the doors. And they get into the house, and they see the sister, but they can't see the sister because the Most High made the sister damn near invisible. Now, she can see them, but they can't see her. So they're walking, they're looking around, and they don't see, they can't hear this woman or can't see this woman and her children. So they raid the house, they go up and down, they go upstairs, they don't see anybody. They storm in the bathroom, the kitchen, they're kicking doors down, they go in the basement, they don't see anybody. The sister remains still in the living room. She's invisible in her family, and Esau can't see him. Esau leaves, and she survives. Right? These are dreams, but nevertheless, nothing is too hard for the Lord. Right? Another account, this individual said that Esau kicked the door down, found her in the basement, and they kept shooting her, but the bullets never affected her, man. I mean, they let go every bullet they had, and she was shot, but no bullet hit her or affected her, and she kept calling upon the name of the Lord. So the Lord could bring, these are the miracles of the Most High God. And not only did this happen to Daniel, when you go to Jeremiah 39, let's get another count. This also happened to Jeremiah, man. Right? This is Jeremiah 39, and I believe I want to start at I may start at 8. Or I'll get straight to the point. This is Jeremiah 39 and 8. I'm going to start at 8. This is during the siege of Babylon. The siege of Jerusalem around 586 BC. And the Chaldeans burnt the king's house and the houses of the people with fire and break down the walls of Jerusalem. That's what the Babylonians did. Then Nebuzaradan, the captain of the guard, carried away captive into Babylon the remnant of the people that remained in the city, and those that fell away, that fell to him with the rest of the people that remained. Now, but Nebuzaradan, the captain of the guard, left of the poor of the people which had nothing, and the land of Judah, and gave them vineyards and fields at the same time. Now Nebuchadnezzar, right? Remember, he's the king of Babylon. Just got through destroying Israel, Jerusalem, after a long siege. Now Nebuchadnezzar, king of Babylon, gave charge concerning Jeremiah to Nebuzaradan, the captain of the guard, saying, take him and look well to him, and do him no harm, but do unto him even as he shall say unto thee. So you can't tell me that the Most High wasn't with Jeremiah. Here you have the king focused on one Israelite, Jeremiah, who doesn't know him from anywhere. They never had an in-depth conversation. He don't know anything about Nebuchadnezzar. Nebuchadnezzar knows nothing about Jeremiah. Doesn't know his works. Doesn't know, if he's from the tribe of Levi. He's from Anathoth. Hey, guess what? Jeremiah doesn't know the military campaigns of Nebuchadnezzar. But look what the Most High does. The Most High put the spirit of Nebuchadnezzar to tell the captain of the guard, go find Jeremiah. Take him and look well to him. Do him no harm, but do unto him even as he shall say unto thee. And the Most High could do that, man. Esau kicked the door down. The Most High put the spirit on Esau. Take this man, protect this man. Don't do any harm to this man. Look well unto him. Matter of fact, whatever he asks for, give it to him. And guess what? These guys, the Most High, he controls man's thoughts, and he'll do that. And he did that for Jeremiah, because Jeremiah, he served the Most High. Even if he had to deal with that, he was thrown in a dungeon, falsely charged with particular sins, falsely charged with treason. He was solo, man, weeping for his people. And what did the Most High do? He said, do him no harm. You're in the damn FEMA camp, concentration camp. Esau says, hey, look, get that man out of here. And you're trying, what did I do? Here, let him free, right? Just let this one free. He doesn't know why. He wakes up in the middle of the night. Get this guy out of here, man. Give him food and raiment and tell him to leave. Then they give you a big book bag full of food, book bag full of that water and drink. And they say, well, what else do you want? What else do you want? They say, don't be shy. What do you want? Well, I need this, I need that, I need that. Here, give it to him and let him go free. And don't follow after that man. And if you see that man, leave him alone. That's what the Most High did for Jeremiah. So Nebuzaradan, the captain of the guard, sent, and Nebuchadnezzar and Rabsaris and the guard Sherazar, Rabmag, and the king of Babylon princes. Even they sent and took Jeremiah out of the court of the prison. See that? We just spoke about it. These heathen took Jeremiah out of prison and committed him unto Gedaliah, the son of Ahikam, the son of Shaphan, that he should carry him home. So he dwelt among the people. And the Most High might put the spirit in the heathen. Hey, just take this man home. He's had enough. He looks hungry. He looks thirsty. His clothes are worn out. Just carry him home. Where do you live at? Right? Where do you live? Do you live over here? Do you live in DC? Do you live in LA? Get this guy, put him on a helicopter, and send him back to damn LA, man. Send him back home with food and raiment. And send this guy back to damn Dallas, Texas, man. This is what the Most High did for Jeremiah. Jeremiah was well taken care of. Daniel was taken care of. Our forefathers are taken care of by the spirit and power of Yahweh Ba'Shem Yahushai, man. Many accounts, right? Let's go to 2 Samuel. It's like your 2 Kings, the 19th chapter, right? So the Most High could deliver you from a concentration camp, from a FEMA camp. You could be stuck in prison. You could be a vagabond. Then the Most High takes you out. Right, here's another way how the Most High allowed us to eat. 2 Samuel chapter 19 and verse, it's like I want 1 Kings. Right, I want to get this account how the Most High is going to allow us to eat. 1 Kings chapter 19. And that's why we remember these accounts. We call upon the Most High to remember these accounts so we can be driven through faith in those days. Right? This thing is all about having faith in the Most High. 1 Kings chapter 19 and verse 5. Check this out. This is dealing with Elijah, right? 1 Kings 19 and 5. And as he lay and slept under a juniper tree, behold, then an angel touched him and said unto him, arise and eat. And he looked, and behold, there was a cake baking on the coals, and the cruse of water at his head, and he did eat and drink and laid him down again. So again, you might be in the woods, man. You're trying to look at the foods. Okay, can I eat that? Can I eat that? Your stomach is growling. And your woman, she's about to faint because she hasn't eaten in 3 days. Your child, you're screaming, and you're trying to keep your child quiet so you don't want to draw attention to yourself. And you're looking for food, and there's no food around. Everybody goes to sleep, and you wake up, and it's an angel, damn, making you a cake. Imagine seeing that. Imagine going to sleep hungry, waking up, and it's an angel, damn, cracking the egg, got the whisk with the bowl, you understand, pouring the damn batter in the thing, making it nice and fluffy, throwing it over the fire, and says, hey, look, I got this cake for you. See, you tell that to a mortal man not in the truth, he'll think you're crazy. What do you mean that an angel made you a cake? That sounds crazy. Hey, I believe that, man. I believe that in those days, we might be somewhere and the Lord could send an angel down to damn give you anything, man. Right? To make you a cake. He had a fresh baked cake. See, a man might mess the cake up. Okay, I kind of left the cake in the oven too long. Okay, I forgot to flip the cake over, or I forgot the cinnamon, or I forgot this ingredient. Damn, I messed the cake up. And the angel's not messing the cake up. And that thing is made by the hand of the Most High. Right? So it says, and he looked, and behold, there was a cake baking on the coals and the cruse of water. So he had some ice cold water. And he did eat and drink and laid him down again. Right? You wake up, the angel cooking you some damn food. Right? You eat the food, you drink the water, you just go back to sleep, huh? Right? And the angel of the Lord came again the second time and touched him and saying, arise and eat, because the journey is too great for thee. You might be on a journey, right? A pilgrim is somebody on a journey. We will be pilgrims on the earth with no set destination. And Yahushua said, let me get this in Luke. Foxes have holes and the birds have nest, but the Son of Man hath not where to lay his head. Let's go to Luke chapter 9. Let's deal with it. This is St. Luke chapter 9. If I can bear with me. I want to get this account. 58. Let me read 58. Luke chapter 9 and 58. I'm going to start at 57. And it came to pass that as they went in the way, a certain man said unto the Lord, I will follow thee whithersoever thou goest. And Yahushua said unto him, foxes have holes, and birds of the air have nests, but the Son of Man hath not where to lay his head. And that doesn't mean Yahushua didn't have a house. It means that he was on the move. Meaning, if you follow me, it's not going to be a comfortable thing. You're not going to be able to check in at a hotel or Airbnb or have a fluffy pillow and have your Tempur-Pedic mattress and drink a nasty glass of warm milk and crack your toes and stretch and tuck yourself in every night. And Yahushua kiss you on the forehead and shows you miracles, right? Until you go to sleep. Then you go to sleep and you wake up. And that's not how it works following Yahushua. He had a rough life. And he had a life worse than a beast of the field. Because even the beasts of the field, they can always resort and go back home. The foxes have holes. So after their long journeys, after their damn long nights of trying to seek out food, they can always, no matter what, go back to their home. They live in a particular environment. And seldom do they leave their environment. Right? Birds of the air have nests. They always go back to their nest. They don't just build a nest for one day and freak off. Build a nest in LA and they say, think about going to Kansas City. No, that's their home. But the Son of Man, he didn't have a consistent place to stay. Right? There was not a set. So he might be in Galilee, then he might be in Capernaum, then he might be in Decapolis, then he might be in Jerusalem, then he might be in Bethsaida, then he might be in Bethany, then he might be. Hey, the Lord was all over the place, man. And you have to, if you want to follow the Lord, you have to be all over the place too, man. You have to be a pilgrim on the earth. You know? So this is not going to be comfortable. That's what the Lord told Elijah. Hey, look, you have a journey too far for you. But guess what? I'm going to give you food to eat. Because you're going to be a pilgrim on the earth. You're not going to have anywhere to lay your head. But the angel came down and gave you food to sustain you on your journey. 1 Kings 19:8. And he arose. Now, this is beautiful. 1 Kings 19:8. And he arose and did eat and drink. And went in the strength of that meat, meaning for that food, 40 days and 40 nights until Horeb, the mount of God. So the Most High can give you food. And normally you might be full, maybe for a few hours, maybe 4 hours, maybe 5 hours at the most, maybe 6. And then you got to eat again, right? You might eat your breakfast at 10 a.m., 9 a.m. Then you might eat again, maybe at 5 p.m. You might still be hungry, maybe at 10. Did that happen to Elijah? No. He ate that meal. He was full for 40 days and 40 nights. You might eat one crumb, right? You kind of see a cookie or a damn whatever, a piece of flesh or meat. You kind of cook it and you're wondering, oh, this isn't going to last me too long, but I'm going to eat it anyway. And you end up being full for 40 days and 40 nights off of one meal, one cup of water, and you can't even eat anything else. You're just full. That's what the Most High, when the Most High said, my servant shall eat, this is how it's going down. When the Most High said, my servant shall drink and you should be thirsty, this is how it's going down. In Jacob's trouble and persecution about being delivered, we're showing you how it's going down. The miracles of Yahweh Ba'Shem Yahushua. Imagine that, man. You go in the strength for 40 days and 40 nights. The Lord also fed Elijah by ravens, man. You know? Now, when you go down, I'm going to jump down. This is 1 Kings chapter 19. It's like I actually want 1 Kings 17. Right? So, these chapters are beautiful. And you have to go into these accounts and read these chapters, man. You know, knowing the in-depth breakdown of the 70 weeks and Daniel 9, it's not going to be profitable for you when you need to bank on these accounts. Knowing the 7 heads and 10 horns and all 12 feathers and every date and every middle name and every region they ruled, that's knowledge, you understand? But guess what? That faith is really what's going to keep you going. When you're in the FEMA camp or you're a pilgrim on the earth, what good is knowing the 70 weeks of Daniel? Okay, that's 483 years from the time of the commandment, from the Persian king until that's not going to do anything for you. You have to know how to sustain yourself. You have to know how to build yourself up, man. You know, you have particular herbs that you take that are preventative. So when you are sick or things happen, those herbs kind of kick in and kind of negate that virus or negate that ailment that was coming. People do that with medicine. They do that with herbs or food. They build themselves up in the event that if something happens, it doesn't have that much of an effect. And they build themselves up with the right thing. So people that don't want heart disease, they make sure they eat this, they eat that, they get plenty of exercise, they drink this, they do that. They take care of themselves. You have to do that spiritually. Here you know evil is coming. You know destruction is coming. You know a famine is coming. Are you taking care of your spirit? Or are you just reading the prologue of Sirach all day, man? Or you just watching videos all day? You have to read these accounts and know these accounts and charge your mind through faith to remember them. The Lord said, wisdom and knowledge, let me get that real quick, shall be the stability of thy times, man. Right? And that's what's important in these days. That's what's important, right? Understanding the wonderful works of the Most High. And King David said, but I will remember the right hand of the Most High. Let me get that account too, Lord willing. Right? Isaiah chapter 33 and verse 6. Right? It's lucky I want to get this account in the Psalms. I believe that's Psalm 77. Right? I want to get that after this. Isaiah chapter 33 and 6. It reads, and wisdom and knowledge shall be the stability of thy times, and strength of salvation. The fear of the Lord is his treasure. So what's the strength of you being delivered? What's the focal point? What's the weightier matters? It's what? Wisdom and knowledge, right? Wisdom and knowledge, that's what's going to keep you stable. And wisdom teaches man how to be profitable unto himself. Because you have men that teach many, but they're unprofitable to themselves because they don't know what they need. That's Sirach the 37th chapter. You have to know, okay, look, I know my faith is weak. I know that's something that I struggle with. Let me make and even if you feel like you have faith, there's no such thing as you've reached the amount of faith. I know I don't need any more faith. You always pray for faith. Even the apostles said, Lord, increase our faith. And they saw the miracles of Yahweh Shah. That's what's going to keep you stable. Right? Remembering the wonderful works of the Most High, man. So brothers got to get their priorities right, man. If all you do is watch breakdowns on multiple wives, I mean, brother, what is that going to do to you when you're looking at the guillotine or Esau's going door to door or you haven't eaten in 3 days? All you studied was how to receive 4 wives and how to backbite without getting caught. And you just watched TikTok all day. Psalms chapter 77 and verse 1. I'm going to start at 2. In the day of my trouble, I sought the Lord. Right? And that's what brothers have to do. In those days of trouble and Jacob's trouble, you have to seek the Most High. You have to call upon Yahweh Bashmi Awashad. My soul ran in the night and ceased not. My soul refused to be comforted. I remembered the Most High and was troubled. I complained and my spirit was overwhelmed. Because in those days, it's not going to be easy. If you say it's going to be easy in those days, then you're being proud. Because it won't be easy. Even David didn't have easy times. Yahweh Shah didn't have it easy. That's what affliction is not meant to be easy. Drinking at a cup of persecution and being hunted by your enemy is not easy. David was on a run from Saul. David had to deal with all types of adversity. And David even complained. We're reading about it. We're getting the mentality of David in particular accounts. He said, I remembered the Most High and was troubled. Right? I complained and my spirit was overwhelmed. Salah. Thou holdest mine eyes waking. I am so troubled that I cannot speak. Couldn't sleep, couldn't speak. I have considered the days of old, the years of ancient times. And this will help our forefather. This will help David when his spirit was overwhelmed. When you deal with stress, when you deal with anxiety, when you deal with these different spirits of emotions that creep in, these demons that try to make you not believe, what did David do? First, he sought the Most High, then he considered the days of old. He got his mentality right. And the years of ancient times. I call to remembrance my song in the night. I commune with my own heart, and my spirit made diligent search. So what does it mean your spirit made diligent search? Whenever you're in a situation that's adverse, or your back is against the wall, or you're dealing with affliction, or you're dealing with trials, your spirit has to make diligent search. Meaning in your mind, you have to find these accounts of the Most High's power. You have to find these accounts of the Lord delivering us, right? You have to find accounts of the Most High protecting us. Whatever you're dealing with, there's an account of the Most High being there for you. And you have to search. Okay, what is that? Jeremiah. I remember in Jeremiah 39:12, the Lord delivered Jeremiah and said, do him no harm. My spirit made diligent search. Another precept, that's Daniel, the first chapter, 6 on down. Daniel chapter 6, 13 on down. Jeremiah 15:11, Proverbs chapter 16:7. The Lord will entreat thee well. And that's your spirit making diligent search. You're thinking about all the accounts of the Most High. You're trying to find a book, chapter, and a verse in your mind to comfort you about the works of the Most High. Because you may not have your Bible in front of you. You can't just say, well, in Jacob's trouble, I'm just feel like reading the book of Psalms. It's not going to work like that. Your spirit has to make diligent search, right? It reads, will the Lord cast off forever? Will he be favorable no more? It's his mercy clean going forever. Yeah, you might be in that FEMA camp. You might be looking at the guillotine. You might not have eaten or drinking in 3 days. You might say, man, it's the Most High still with me. That's where the doubt comes in. Doth his promise fail forevermore? Hath God forgotten to be gracious? Hath he in his anger shut up his tender mercies? Here you are praying for food on day 1. You still didn't get it. You're praying for food on day 2. The Most High delivered, you didn't get it. You're praying for food on day 3, and you're like, man, have the Most High forgotten to be gracious? Them thoughts might creep in, right? Hath he in his anger shut up his tender mercies? Salah. And I said, this is my infirmity, but what? But I will remember the years of the right hand of the Most High. See, that David said, I'm dealing with this, but I know how to help myself. I know how to build up my spirit. Here's what I'll do. I will remember the years of the right hand of the Most High. I'm going to remember when the Lord fed Elijah with a raven. That's the right hand of the Most High, his power. I'm going to remember when the Most High fed Elijah with meat, and he went in that in the strength of that for 40 days and 40 nights. That's the right hand of the Most High. I'm going to remember Exodus chapter 12:33 on down, when the Lord brought us favor in the Egyptians and used us to spoil them. Any type of affliction you're dealing with, you have to remember the years of the right hand of the Most High. And that's why we go through these accounts in 1 Kings or in Jeremiah or the book of Daniel or Revelation or whatever precept, second Esdras. So you can have these precepts, and in the time of your affliction, you also can remember the right hand of the Most High. You know, it reads, I will remember the works of Yahweh. Surely I will remember thy wonders of old. I will meditate also of all thy work and talk of all thy doings. And this is how you sustain yourself. This is a mental thing. This is a strong mind, because it's easy to get emotional and say, oh, I don't know. The Most High's not with me. I don't think I'll make it. I don't know if I'll survive. Oh, God, this is Jacob's trouble. Welcome to the end of the world. You have to say, nah. Yeah, I know this is affliction. Days of affliction. Years. Now we're pilgrims on the earth. Now I want to remember the hand of the Most High. I'm going to remember how the Most High was with my fathers. I'm going to remember how the Lord was with Abraham. I'm going to remember how the Lord was with Isaac. I'm going to recall and meditate how the Most High delivered our fathers. You know, and that's why these accounts that we go into are very, very important. Let's go to 1 Kings, the 17th chapter, right? 1 Kings chapter 17 and verse 12. I'm going to start at 9. 1 Kings 17 and 9. This is what the Lord told Elijah again. Arise, get thee to Zarephath, which belongeth to Zidon. So Elijah was going from place to place, place to place, place to place. He was a pilgrim on the earth, right? Arise, get thee to Zarephath, which belongeth to Zidon, and dwell there. Behold, I have commanded a widow woman there to sustain thee. So the Lord could put the spirit on an individual to sustain you. The Lord came to Abimelech in a dream and told Abraham and told him, look, don't touch Abraham. Don't harm Abraham. Don't deal with his wife. Speak unto Abraham. Let me get that in Genesis. The Most High told him, speak unto Abraham, ain't neither good nor bad, man. And he was the king of the Philistines. And after that, Abraham left with wealth and servants and oxen and cattle, man. Right? Genesis chapter 20. And let's see. Let's see what I want. That may be Genesis 26 with Isaac. Right? Let me see if I can get that. Right? Where the Most High told the king, speaking to him neither good nor bad, right? Let's see. It's like I typed in Isaiah, right? Thinking of Isaac. It's like in Genesis. I believe that's Genesis chapter 26. So Salakia. All right, typed in Isaiah, thinking of Isaac. All right, let's go to Genesis, the 26th chapter. Because Abimelech dealt with both of them, right? Abimelech dealt with Abraham, and Abimelech of Gerar, he also dealt with Isaac. Let's see. I may just have to go to it and find it. Right? Bear with me 1 second. Right? Salakia. I just want to get this account. Right? Actually, that's Laban and Jacob. Right? When you read Genesis, the 24th chapter, in verse 50, it says, then Laban and Bethuel answered and said, the thing proceeded from the Lord. We cannot speak unto thee bad or good. Right? So the Most High could put the spirit on, and Laban was oppressing Jacob, and the Lord put the spirit on Laban to neither speak to Jacob good nor bad. You know, so when you go back to 1 Kings, the Most High could also put the spirit and command a widow woman or anybody to sustain you. Right? You might be walking somewhere and they might call you by name. Let's say your name is Gabar. Hey, Gabar, Gabar. You look around, who knows me? You keep running, and they running after you. Hey, the Most High told me to take care of you. Right? Then the Most High tells you, go with that individual. And the Lord told Peter, hey, go with those men, man. Right? Let me get that in Acts 10. See, and the Most High is going to be with you. Well, you're not going to have to doubt, is the Most High with me? Should I follow this person? They said that the Lord commanded him to keep me alive and give me food and water. I don't know. Right? But that's why the Most High is going to be with you in those days. Right? Acts chapter 10 and verse, it's like, let me get straight to the point. Acts chapter 10 and 19. While Peter thought on the vision, the Spirit said unto him, behold, 3 men seek thee. Arise therefore and get thee down and go with them, doubting nothing, for I have sent them. You see that? So you might be wondering, who are these men? Should I go with them? They called me and said, the Lord commanded them to sustain me, like in 1 Kings. She could have said, hey, Elijah, right? We know how the account went, but she could say, Elijah, come here. I'm here to take care of you. Then the Most High come to you in the spirit and say, don't doubt it. Follow that person. I sent them. Have no doubt. This is how the Lord was with Peter. That's how the Lord was with Elijah. The Lord commanded a widow woman to sustain Elijah. 1 Kings 17 and 10. So he arose and went to Zarephath, and when he came to the gate of the city, behold, the widow woman was there gathering of sticks. And he called to her and said, Fetch me, I pray thee, a little water in a vessel, that I may drink. And as she was going to fetch it, he called to her and said, Bring me, I pray thee, a morsel of bread in thine hand. And she said, As the Lord thy God liveth, I have not a cake, but a handful of meal in a barrel. Right, so she had and a little oil in a cruse. Behold, I am gathering 2 sticks, that I may go in and dress it for me and my son, that we may eat it and die. She said, I got a little bit just for me and my son. It's our last meal. We're going to eat this and just drop dead. And Elijah said unto her, Fear not, go and do as thou hast said, but make me thereof a little cake first, and bring it unto me, and after make for thee a cake, after make for thee and thy son. For thus saith the Lord God of Israel, the barrel of meal shall not waste, neither shall the cruse of oil fail, until the day that the Lord sendeth rain upon the earth. And she went and did according to the saying of Elijah, and she and he and her house did eat many days. And the barrel of meal wasted not, neither did the cruse of oil fail, according to the word of Yahweh, Bashnabbashai, which he spake by Elijah. So you might, let's say you're you find a box of whatever, right? Box of cereal, right? You just see, I'm just using that as an example. You pour it into a bowl, right? It's lucky. You pour it into a bowl, and then you thought it's done. You might get 6 bowls, 7 bowls out of a box. You eat it, right? You're carrying it with you. That's the only thing you have. And then you keep pouring it, and there's more cereal coming out. You look in a box and it's empty, but every time you keep pouring it, damn cereal comes out. That's what the Lord did for Elijah. Or you got a little bit of olive oil, right? Olive oil ain't cheap, man. We're going to get some good olive oil, and then you pouring the oil out, right? And every time you pour it out, none is taken out. There's half oil left, but you keep pouring it, but it doesn't go down. Trying to figure out what's going on. Why isn't this oil being depleted? You pour it out, you pour it all, you keep pouring and pouring, then you lift it up, and the oil never leaves. Hey, now it's time to call upon the Most High, man, because that's the miracle that the Lord does, man. The Lord had the meal not waste, or the cruse of oil fail. The Lord had that oil and that meal constantly sustaining her entire household, man. So again, the Most High said, My servant shall eat, and ye shall be hungry. My servant shall drink, but ye shall be thirsty. These are various accounts of how men are going to survive those days, man. I want to go into another account about being in prison, right? I'm trying to touch on both points for the Acts 16 chapter, right? So dealing back with we dealing with food, we dealing with being on the run, we're pilgrims of the earth, right? There are many ways men are going to survive. Because remember, the Most High said in Job, right? I want to get this in Job, the 5th chapter. The Most High said, At death and destruction thou shalt laugh, neither shalt thou be afraid of the beasts of the earth. Right? So Salaki, bear with me. Right, bear with me 1 second. All right. So this Job chapter 5 and verse 17. Right? Job chapter 5 and 17. Behold, happy is the man whom the Most High correcteth. Therefore despise not thou the chastening of the Almighty, for he maketh sore and bindeth up. He woundeth, and his hands make whole. He shall deliver thee in 6 troubles. Yea, in 7 there shall no evil touch thee. So the Most High is going to deliver you when you don't have food, when you're jammed up in this situation, when you don't have this. No matter what, the Most High is going to be with you. In famine, he shall redeem thee. Slakia. Bear with me. Right? In famine, he shall redeem thee from death, and in war from the power of the sword. Thou shalt be hid from the scourge of the tongue, neither shalt thou be afraid of destruction when it cometh. At destruction and famine, Thou shalt laugh, neither shalt thou be afraid of the beasts of the earth. Imagine that. All hell breaking loose, and it's a famine and destruction, and you're laughing. You have wine, you have food, you might have the brothers around, you might have your woman around, your kids, and y'all are just sitting at a table as if nothing is happening. You see people screaming in the streets, gunshots, all hell breaking loose, and you're just pouring back wine and mirth, eating the damn steak. An angel is baking you a cake, and you are just taken care of. And heathen are submitting themselves to you and giving you everything you need. And birds and fowls of the air are providing you with clothing and raiment. Certain men are going to go through particular things, man. How else are you going to be laughing? Is it because you're at the comedy show? Okay, it's Def Jam comedy. Okay, you got Steve Harvey. Okay, then you got this guy. You got Cedric the Entertainer. Then you got this guy. Then they resurrected. No, man. That's not how you're going to be laughing. You're going to be laughing in mirth, praising the Most High. Certain men are going to go through this. Like the Lord said, not everybody's going to have the same lot. Certain men are going to be left behind. Certain men are going to be laughing at death and destruction. Similar to what the Most High said in Proverbs, the 12th chapter. Right? Let's go to Proverbs chapter 12 and 21. Right? Proverbs chapter 12 and 21. That's a beautiful lot right there. I mean, that's something I know brothers always talk about. Laughing at famine. Laughing at destruction. And that's not going to be for the slothful. The Lord isn't doing that for the lukewarm. Right? Or idolaters, man. Proverbs chapter 12 and drunkards. And men that are dealing with people of the world, man. You know? That can't separate from the world. That lust after the pleasures of the flesh. Proverbs chapter 12 and 21. There shall no evil happen to the just, but the wicked shall be filled with mischief. So no evil is going to happen to the just. They don't have to worry about particular things, man, because they have faith. And the Most High said this, we believe it. We believe that no evil is going to happen to the just, but the wicked shall be filled with mischief. And that's what the Most High said this. At destruction and famine, thou shalt laugh, neither shalt thou be afraid of the beast of the earth. Like you might be in the woods and a fox doesn't attack you, or birds or bugs or mosquitoes or damn whatever. You might be in the swamp, you want to run and leeches are coming after you and all hell is breaking loose. You're literally going to be laughing. Verse 23. Thou shalt be in league with the stones of the field, and the beast of the field shall be at peace with thee. And this is really the most beautiful lot, right? For the living. There's nothing greater in the Bible for the elect outside of Job 15, 5 and 22. Laughing at destruction and famine. All hell breaking loose. Missiles are dropping and you're laughing and rejoicing because you're eating and drinking and being merry as the sand of the seashore. You might stumble across an Edomite mansion. Like I said, they got these damn doomsday preppers, man. You know? And they have big houses with food. And they might be dead. You know? They might be somewhere and, you know, they stocked up all this food and sleeping bags and God knows what, like this big swine right here, man. And you find it with all of the food, right? And they're stocking up all of that, and you're eating it and laughing and rejoicing, right? Nobody knows, man, right? The angel might bring you food. Look at this, enough food for the apocalypse. Look at this madness, right? All these doomsday preppers. Look at this. That gun is almost the size of her damn body. Look at this. Like a lot of these people are Edomites, man. You know? A lot of these guys are Edomites. 10 survival foods. Look at this. The Lord isn't giving all this food to Esau to survive. Because remember, every Edomite is going to be destroyed in America when the missiles come. This is going to be used for those so they can laugh at famine and death and destruction on the earth, man. You know? Let's go to the book of Ecclesiasticus, the 33rd chapter. Let's go to Ecclesiasticus in the Apocrypha, chapter 33 and 1. So, I mean, these are things that we think about all the time. We're thinking about the angels giving us food. We're thinking how the Most High gave us manna, how the Lord had water come out of the rock for us. There are plenty of ways on how the Most High fed our people, right? The Lord fed 5,000, right, with 2 loaves and 5 loaves and 2 fishes. He fed 4,000, and there were 12 baskets remaining of food, and 7 baskets and a great amount remaining. Paraphrasing. Sirach 33 and 1. There shall no evil happen unto him that feareth the Lord, but in temptation even again he will deliver him. So no evil is going to happen to you. Even when you're dealing with temptation, you're dealing with these spirits, I don't know what to do, should I do this? The Most High is going to make a way and deliver you. So in the time of Jacob's trouble, we firmly believe that the Spirit is going to be with us. And we have faith, man. And again, that's what this thing is about. It's about faith, right? It's about believing that the Most High is going to be with you, no matter what. Because you don't want to trust in carnality. You don't want to trust in your weapons or trust in your food that you stockpiled, right? And trust in your water supply that you have stockpiled. You want to trust in the Most High God, whose name is Yahweh, and the name of his son Yahushua, and call upon him for salvation. Hebrews chapter 11 and 1. Now, faith is the substance of things hoped for, the evidence of things not seen. For by it the elders obtained a good report. This is how Abraham became a friend of God. This is how Noah was perfect and righteous. This is how Enoch walked with the Most High and he was not. This is how Shem had great honor among men. Our elders, our fathers, when it came to how the Most High pushed them out in their name, every man has a good report, man. How did they get this good report? Through faith. Through faith, we understand that the worlds were framed by the word of the Most High, so that things which are seen were not made of things which do appear. I'm going to jump to verse 6. But without faith, it is impossible to please him. For he that cometh to the Most High must believe that he is, and that he is a rewarder of them that diligently seek him. So it's a beautiful thing for brothers to pray for more faith, pray for more mercy, that you can recall these accounts in the right hand of the Most High in these last days. But with that, I'm going to close up, giving, of course, all honor and all glory to Yahweh, by Shema Mashiach Malak Yahushua. Right? The days of trouble are at hand, but what the Most High say? Right? Yahweh by Shema Yahushua said, the days of trouble are at hand, but I will deliver you from the same. The Lord said, be ye neither afraid, neither doubt, for the Most High is your guide, and the guide of them who keep my commandments and precepts, said the Lord. Let not your sins weigh you down, and let not your iniquities lift up themselves. Woe unto them that are bound with their sins, man. Like as a field is covered over with thorns, that no man may pass therethrough. It is left undressed and to be consumed with the fire therewith, paraphrasing. So with that, Kwam Yashala, Most High willing brothers was edified. Shalom.